Instructor!
Yes? What do you want? I'm packing for an incident in Buffalo.
We need you to fill in for a science class.
If you mean for the Bio 126 DNA class, I'll be back before Thursday.
Nah, we need you for a science class. Today.
There are none today. My schedule's empty because the students are out on retreat.
No, we need you to teach a general science class. For the kids. Specifically a lesson on scientific method.
Is this some sick joke? I already filled in for a literature workshop class that needed to learn what MLA was. These kids can't be over 19 and still not know the scientific method.
Yeah, well, if we don't crash course this class, we're going to fail the audit this year.
I have field work.
Not anymore, you don't.
Graduated for this many years and it still feels like high school never ends.
Yeah, it's a high school class.
You Good afternoon, class. I'll be substituting for Miss Graziano for today because she lost her voice and couldn't come in. Your schedule says that science class is first, and I have to prepare you for your science fair. Before I cut you loose and you choose is Snow Bunny mind control real with your homeboy as the test subject, I need to teach you how the scientific method works so you at least got good procedure. The first step is making an observation. Then, from that observation, ask a question. And then, you can make a hypothesis using what you know from the observation. It is important to note that a hypothesis is not a question. It's a prediction or assumption made based off of your observation. So less, does Bridget have a town inside her? And more, if Bridget can fit a whole town inside her, then she's remarkably elastic because a town needs a lot of space. To elaborate, a hypothesis consists of a predicted cause, effect, and reasoning. It can be thought of as if X, then Y because of Z. Another example of a hypothesis can be if I switch to a secondary, it is faster than reloading because there are fewer movements involved. After you have a hypothesis, you get to the part that Mel likes, experimentation. We'll be going with an easily tested hypothesis for the rest of this explanation. For this, we will be helped by a Helldiver. He has been voluntold for this job by his democracy officer with the promise of a bottle of Eagle 1 spit. Our hypothesis will be, if a Helldiver steps on a landmine, it will explode, and destroy them, because mines explode when enemies touch them.
Engaging terminal.
An experiment typically has three parts: the independent variable, the dependent variable, and a control group. Your independent variable is the variable that is being changed. The dependent variable is something that would be a measurable change in response to the independent variable. The control variables are elements not changed in between tests that won't skew the data. Our independent is our Helldiver, dependent is the effects of stepping on a mine, and control is the landmine type. Super Earth fields multiple landmine types, including the classic anti-personnel, which we will be using, the fatphobic one, syphilis, and anime convention. The goal of this test is to see the reaction of a mine when touched by a Helldiver. But what are our testing parameters? Much like parenting, you need to establish some ground rules. In this case, you want to keep your results unbiased. You should think about possible things that could affect your test results and make them inconsistent. Fortified and effective armor Helldivers may don can reduce damage inflicted by explosives. If we anticipate that our Helldiver friend here would explode horribly and join the Hall of Patriots past, this armor may skew the survival rates. We also can't have enemies nearby, since they might detonate the mines, and then we can't get a clear observation of our Helldiver helping us with our democratic research. We should repeat this test as well, in order to make sure they're not flukes. So our Helldiver friend here may have to take a few for the team. Let's just say 5 times. Our Helldiver friend will have to step on a landmine 5 times. His compensation will be knowing that the enemies of humanity will also be stepping on them 5 times. Now we have to execute our test and document our results. This first bit of footage may have been an accident, as the Helldiver in the footage may actually be a minesweeper. The flag just wouldn't sit right, and then... oop, there he goes. Our next result here comes from a Helldiver that has both the properties of rubber and gum. I think the shrapnel got him though. This Helldiver here just found out that Eagle 1 is actually engaged, and that all of his super chats on her super streams won't let him hit. It seems for a moment that managed democracy was not done with him yet, but a recount was initiated and it was determined that he was too pathetic to be allowed to live on. This Helldiver just realized he forgot his passcodes for his crypto wallet. Finally, this Helldiver was named to either name a single straight person in Hololive or dive on a mine in the name of liberty. To thank them for their bold service, these Helldivers will be offered a 100 requisition slip allowance on a prosthetic limb of their choice, sponsored by Super United Healthcare, bringing you the lowest coverage so you can keep showing off your freedoms. Here's 5 clips of Voteless in our shrapnel-based deportation program. Better luck next time! Remember that if you have anyone applying to become a Super Earth citizen, they need to pay a price of 2,500 super credits and submit 18 different documents that we don't tell you about until the process begins. Oh, and 2 to 6 business months of processing. We're a real country, goddammit, not a socialist handout charity. Now that we have completed our test, though, we need to analyze our results. What happened? Are there any potential issues that could affect how clean our test results are? The Helldivers consistently cast their votes into the great ballot box in the sky. The voteless also joined them in casting their first ballot. Of course, theirs goes downward. Our controlled variables such as armor type and mine type prevent skewing of data. If we used anti-tank mines, they wouldn't go off when a diver stood on them unless the diver is the subject of a pyrocynical roleplay. The participants' armors also do not have fortify on them. Once we've ascertained that our data is clean from bias, something steakhouse chefs could never do, we have to interpret what it means. Collected data needs to be related back to context and the goal of the experiment. If I wrote down a bunch of numbers and put a bunch of photos of shonen anime characters, it would just look like the schizo scrapbook of some 14-year-old weeb. But if I start interpreting it as aura farming stats to you, it suddenly begins to click. Likewise, we have footage of Helldivers and Voteless blowing up. All 5 incidents have led to the Helldiver being disassembled like a crab in a seafood boil. We can easily interpret this as landmines being fatal to both the Helldivers and Voteless. Therefore, Helldivers should either treat landmines with care, or Super Earth needs to identify some method of allowing them to differentiate between friend and foe. This data also supports our hypothesis, which is nice, but isn't the goal of the experiment. Let me break it down for you. The hypothesis is a conjecture you shouldn't be married to. Just because your results do not corroborate it doesn't mean you're destined to work at McDonald's. It just means that the scientific method is working. As long as you completed an experiment to the best of your ability, you have made a factual contribution to this world, something no one will be able to take away. Making a claim and then never testing it, and then believing in that claim all your life is a recipe for ending up in Mini-Minute Man's crosshairs.
That these ancient people with simple hammers and chisels are more talented than you'll ever be, but you better start believing it.
The goal of this method is to find the truth, which should come first before your ego. Unless your idol is Alex Jones, in which case this whole video is useless to you. The final step after you compile everything is to share your findings. It should be documented and available to as many people as possible so that they can see the process, evidence, and conclusions drawn for themselves. They can also build on top of your experiment by adjusting parameters to test for other hypotheses based on yours, like testing other ordinances or allowing divers to wear armor with fortify. Then new knowledge will be added, like adding a book to a public library or your favorite artist uploading to N-Hentai. This is a scientific process at work. Things are claimed, challenged, and then expanded on. The goal isn't to be always right. It's the pursuit of truth through observable, repeatable evidence. Each experiment builds on something. Every lesson leads to another. Science is never finished. Your exit ticket for today will be to identify something that you see in your favorite franchise or everyday life that could be made into a hypothesis.